Sevana, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
So our podcast is all about your journey in the music industry and how you got to
Oh,
where you are now.
goodness. All right, let's do it.
Whereabouts are you in the world right now?
I am in Kingston, Jamaica. I live here.
Oh, wow.
I'm originally from Sevana, Westmoreland, Jamaica, though, which is the other side of the island. It's 4 hours away.
Okay. But you're still in Jamaica now. Kingston's the capital?
Kingston is the capital. It's the hub for creativity, so it just makes sense to be here, you know?
Yeah, totally. It's that there's a lot more going on there as far as like music and
this
everything.
is true. Yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, how did you get into music originally?
How it pulled me into it. I don't know. It's a really cliche answer, but I figured out that I could sing and I just wanted to try it out. And then the more I did it, the more concrete it became, that it was something that was tied deeply into my purpose for being here. And who doesn't like to feel fulfilled? So I kind of just wanted to be fair. Yeah.
So did you start out singing, or what was the first instrument you learned how to play?
My voice.
Yeah.
The first instrument I learned how to properly play was my voice, because I didn't grow up with any kind of vocal training. I didn't grow up being part of the church choir or school choir or anything like that. I kind of just learned how to sing via YouTube, you know?
Oh, wow.
There's a man on there called Brett Cap. Not Brett Cap, Brett Manning. What am I talking about? Brett Cap is the YouTuber's boyfriend. It's fine. Yeah, no. So I kind of like perfected my technique with that. And then like some years ago, I went to get some training done. But other than that, when I was 15 and a half, I entered a national competition with 2 other girls. And that gave me a lot of exposure as far as like the music business and being seen as somebody, being seen as an entertainer, and as far as like doing interviews and so on. So that was my first really big entry into the music industry. And then after that, I went back to school, finished high school, and then decided I wasn't going to go to college because I couldn't afford it. Poor background, happens. And I kind of went through a bout of depression because I just didn't really know who I was or what direction I should have taken, but in that time I kept writing and I kept singing and I kept going to the different jam sessions around Kingston, and I found a sense of, as I was saying, purpose in that. And I kind of just locked in on that. I was desperate for it, so in many ways, I think over and over, since choosing it at around like 20 or something like that, it's continued to save me and give me purpose and fulfillment. So that was the very, very beginning. I'm going to lead right into the Protoje question because I know it's coming. Not to preempt you, but so when I was around 22 or so, 23, something, the date, I can't remember. But I was trying to get onto Protoje's event live from Kingston. It was one of the earliest stagings of it because he had an open audition call.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where he was like, I want some openers. So I had some recordings on SoundCloud, and I sent him, through my friend at the time, Shanae, big up Shanae wherever you're there, a cover of an Amy Winehouse song.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he said he would tell you the story that he listened to the first 30 seconds of it and was just like, oh my God, her voice, potential. So he reached out to me actually on social media, on Twitter. And that's when I went to perform as one of his openers, and then we had a meeting, and then I was just like, this is my vision, this is what I want to do, blah, 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 blah. And he was done. And ever since then, I've been working with him. So.
Oh my gosh. I want to go back a little bit to the, you said you entered a contest when you're about 14 years old.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that contest. Like, how did you find out about it? Like, you were pretty young. Like, was that pretty, was it scary doing the competition? Or?
Oh my God, it was terrifying. I hated it. I really did. It was the worst, but it was also for the best, But I found out about it just because it was Jamaica's national competition. It was the most known
big thing.
Yeah,
okay.
Like broadcasted on TV. Everybody watched on Sunday evening, and the group that I was in, we placed 3rd.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
It was
cool.
crazy.
Was it cool being on, being a part of that on TV and being so young? Was it kind of a cool experience?
It was, I don't know. I remember it being very terrifying. Like, no, I can say that it's cool, but when I was going through it, I used to dread the performances because, as I said, like I didn't have that great of a control over my voice at the time. You know, I was still kind of learning and growing into my voice. And
Sure.
people were ruthless. They started calling us the chipmunks, and we got a lot of hate. But somehow
Oh
we
my
ended up
gosh.
staying.
As 14-year-olds, like, God, that's
It was crazy.
brutal. Yeah.
So, and then one of the judges ended up calling. He ripped us to shreds every week. Awful. My God. But yeah,
What a place to be as a 14-year-old.
I know
Jeez.
I developed really thick skin though.
I was gonna say, well, yeah, you probably developed the thick skin, and you also, obviously didn't let it hold you back.
I'm unstoppable.
Yeah, because maybe some kids would be like, oh, like I'm not very good. This guy's telling me I'm not good, and yeah. But that's amazing that you stuck with it. You showed him, right? Yeah. Okay.
But yeah.
Well, with Protoje, you said you sent him an Amy Winehouse cover.
Yes.
But you had songs on SoundCloud already. What was your, like, were those songs that you're just writing by yourself? Like, tell me a little bit about that part.
It was really just covers, just covers of songs that I did. I was practicing recording in a studio. So as often as I could, I would find myself at a studio that was close to my house, and I just practiced to record songs. And then a few of them I really, really liked, including Back to Black by Amy Winehouse, and I put it up on my SoundCloud. I remember putting up an acoustic version of Bob Marley's put your cards on your table. Oh, I Wanna Love You. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then another one. Oh, Set Fire to the Rain by Adele. I did that one as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I had a few up there. I think I had like 2 or 3 more on there. But
you really went for the difficult ones there, didn't you? Like Amy Winehouse's voice and Adele. I mean, even Marley. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I always tend to do the most difficult thing. I don't know why.
So you work on that record, and from there, did that just open the doors for you?
No, it was really becoming acquainted with Protoje that opened some doors, because once I got onto the stage and we started working together, he gave me the beat for my very first like official single release, that went out into the world as like a known thing. And I was, like a known new singer on the scene. It was a bit too shy. He had me hear the beat when he invited me to the studio down at Tough Gong, and yeah, I vibed. I really, really loved the instrumental. So I ended up write a song, in that same on the spot kind of, and then yeah, we recorded it.
Wow. Okay, Bit Too Shy was the first thing you released.
It was the first release of mine, like official, like.
Oh, because I see a song called "Wish." Was that another song that you had put out?
No,
or is that
someone
different?
else. That's another woman named Sevana.
Oh my gosh, they lumped it into your she squeezed into your Spotify somehow.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's good to know. So so you put that song out. He produced the beat. Did you just so once you heard the song, you're like, okay, you wrote the lyrics and melody over it?
Yeah. That's really what happened. Yeah.
And then how like you said that was the first official release. Tell me about like putting it out. Was that nerve-wracking?
No, I was excited. I don't remember being nervous at all about that release. I was just very excited.
Just very excited.
Yeah.
And
I was really proud of myself when he came out.
Yeah. From there, what you said the doors opened for you when you started working with him. What was next after putting out Bit Too Shy?
Well, I went on tour for the first time in my life.
Wow.
How many
did you have other songs aside? I mean, you must have had other songs aside from Bit Too Shy.
I think shortly after that he released his album Ancient Future, and I was featured on 2 of the songs on that. So I literally went on tour, and then he would like bring me on in his set, and I would sing Bit Too Shy, and then one song called Sudden Flight, and then maybe Love Gone Cold. It wasn't always Love Gone Cold, but that was really what it is.
Oh wow. Okay, so you got to tour with him.
Yeah.
And then you just
not my.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying it wasn't my tour by myself, but I did get to tour with him, and it was very, very hectic. But I was glad for the introduction still, being around people who you felt safe around at first.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it was probably pretty cool to tour with him because he had like an audience and everything else. I mean, if you're an up and coming artist, usually you would tour as like the opening act for, you know, Protoje or whoever, and like you got to go out into crowds of people already. I'm sure
it was terrifying, but you know, I always get thrown into the deep end, and I always throw myself into the deep end. I just feel like maybe that's what I'm fated to do and be all the time. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, looks like you are very good at swimming when they throw you in the deep end.
A survivor, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So you bit too shy. You do this tour, and you get back. Where did you guys play? Just around Jamaica?
No, all over Europe and the UK.
Oh wow! Was that your first time, like going abroad and stuff?
Yeah. Literally my first time.
Wow! Tell me about that.
It was cool. I found that the crowds were really they were just waiting to hear something, and if they liked it a little bit, they were swaying. And so it was a very easy crowd. Not like Jamaica. We are harsh critics, so you have
really.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you have to go with your A game whenever you're trying to perform in front of a Jamaican crowd. And you could be a newcomer or a veteran. They don't care. They will boo you or just look at you like, what are you doing? You know?
They'll tear you up no matter what.
Oh yeah, for sure. Harsh. Ruthless.
Was it a pretty cool experience though, going to Europe and the UK? I mean, it must have been a totally different, like a cold, I don't know, a different.
It was very cold. I had to get acclimatized to singing in the cold. I had to learn how to keep my throat warm. I had to figure out how to get ready more quickly. Yeah, I had to get used to seeing just foreign places and sleeping on a bus and being around people all the time. You know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And the next thing you put out was your self-titled EP.
Yes.
Was that, did you work on that record with Protoje also, or was that just something you started like once you got back? Like, tell me about that EP.
I think I had a few songs that I'd been working on at that point with Protoje, and yeah, so when I got back off of tour, I kind of just went back into finishing that project. And
okay.
Yeah, I released that.
And did you tour on that record as well?
Yes. I did my first what's it called? My first solo tour. Once I released that
yeah, because
album.
now you have a bunch of songs at this point, so you can go out and do a whole show. Was that where did you tour with on that album? I
went to Europe again.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So I remember going to the Blue Balls Festival in Switzerland, a very interesting name. But they gave me a really warm reception. I really, really loved it. That was my favorite place. And also, they gave me a villa to stay in. It was really exciting.
Wow.
I think Switzerland is really like one of the prettiest places I've been to.
Oh, is that right?
Clean and pretty, yeah. And the people were really warm. I just didn't even really know what to expect being on there by myself. But you know, I went there with my little band and we played, and it was a lot of fun. I loved it.
Yeah. Wow.
It was really exciting. It was just me and like 4 band members that were also like new kind of in music, just fresh out of like music school, and it was a really exciting time. It was very good.
Did you enjoy playing the big festivals or the smaller clubs?
I like bigger crowds just because it's less intimidating.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
I don't know why. Hold on, let me think about it. It's like, I don't know, when you're performing with one person, it's like all of their attention is on you. I don't know why, but
a little bit more like vulnerable. You're a little bit more exposed.
It's more vulnerable. Yeah. You can just imagine like a massive crowd and not be zoned in on any one person really, and kind of just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I like when the stakes are higher or something.
Yeah, that's rad. Okay. You get back, you tore the EP, and then what was next from there?
What was next? What did I do after that? I think I released Justice like a year after. So I took
just a single?
Yeah, it was a single.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a lot of personal things go on in my life, and I kind of needed time to like work on myself. So I released I released a single, I think like a year and something afterwards, Justice, which is a song I really, really believed in. And then maybe a year after that again, I released Sometime Love. And then a year after that, I released Nobody Man. And then fast forward to December of last year, or was it October? One of them. I had a song called Holland Pool that was on the Rock and Groove rhythm, you know, with
Yeah.
Leela. Yeah, Leela and Jazz and Naomi. And then fast forward to now where I have
A
a whole
brand
EP
new
out.
record out.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
between those, like with Justice and then Sometime Love, were you guys, or were you performing during those years? Like,
I
you're still
still
playing?
was. I
Okay.
still was, thankfully. I managed to go away every year on tour.
Wow.
So
Always to Europe, or where did you head?
Europe and one time the Caribbean, and then I think when I released Sometime Love, I ended up in Miami.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I think after the release of Sometime Love is when I started going to the US.
How was that experience?
It was dope. It was dope. It felt, the energy in the US feels a lot more familiar than the UK. You know what I mean? Like it's less foreign to me.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. And Miami was the first place you got to play in
Yeah,
the States?
it was. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then you've done a full US tour?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not
That's
yet.
awesome. In the works.
Mhm.
Rad. So you got, okay. So in between then you were always playing and touring and
Mm-hmm.
still just releasing the singles, and now you have a brand new album, Be Somebody. I
It's
want to
an
hear all about
EP.
this.
It's a
Or
6-song
EP.
EP. No, it's all good. Everybody calls it an album. I should really just accept that everybody thinks, yeah. It's an album.
A
But
record, maybe.
yeah,
Well, I want to hear about it. Tell me about Be Somebody.
it's my best work I've ever done. In the years where I was kind of working on myself and not really releasing music, but also still touring, I was challenged in a lot of ways, and there are a lot of things I overcame. I found myself really, you know, developing true confidence, because there's a way when you're growing up or when you're younger, you pretend to have the confidence. So like you're a little bit more loud because you feel like that's what it needs to look like, especially if a lot of people are looking at you. So I think I got to understand what that really was. And then, on the more personal side of things, I understood what forgiveness looked like, and I understood what, as in for like myself and people. And I understood what rebranding yourself looked like, and I understood what really standing firm in you and your what's it called, character looked like. So I was really emboldened in approaching Be Somebody. My aim, which I did and I'm really proud of, was just to make music that I believed in. I wasn't trying to make it more this or less that. I was just going into it and honoring the music, how it came out of me, which I'm incredibly proud of. This EP is just, I love it, and I'm so happy that people are connecting with it. It means a lot to me.
Yeah,
Like,
it's an amazing record. I really enjoy the song Mango. I think that's such a cool song, and I like the video that you made for it as well.
thank you so much.
Yeah. I love that. Well, so you were working with Protoje, and he's got the reggae. He's a reggae artist, and
Yeah.
I feel like your sound is more up the R&B lane.
People do say that. People do say that. I wouldn't reject it either. I feel like my influences are from many different kinds of genres, and I didn't really pay attention to music being of different sounds growing up. I took in a lot of blues and soul, right? So like Otis Redding, the Manhattans, Kenny Rogers, my mother was obsessed with, Celine Dion, Gregory Isaacs, Bob Marley, like dancehall, Beanie Man, Shabba Ranks, all of them people. So it's kind of like the music I heard a lot. And then once I discovered that, MTV Jams was also a thing. And then
I remember that.
yeah, for sure. So we used to have MTV Jams, and every once in a well, not every once in a while, I was addicted to it, to be honest. So I hear like Green Day come in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, The Fray, I was obsessed with them for a while. I got really heavily into alternative music. Then I tried heavy metal for a little bit, but then it just didn't stick because it felt too like angry.
Yeah, too aggressive.
Yeah. And definitely R&B. Always loved, Anita Baker and just Jasmine Sullivan, Amy Winehouse. I adore,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome that you're able to pull from so many different genres.
No, because I've always kind of been obsessed with music, and then my mother had she kept a lot of cassettes, like so
cassette
much,
tapes. Oh,
right?
okay.
The love for music was kind of introduced from a really young age, and then my father played a lot of instruments. I didn't grow up with him, but I knew of him as being musical as well, right?
Oh, okay, sure.
Also gospel, obsessed with Yolanda Adams, Kirk Franklin on the choir, like all of that. So it's kind of like once I recognized that music was a thing that helped me kind of maybe escape my life for a little bit, I became addicted.
That's amazing. Well, we're glad you got addicted to music because your records are awesome and the new EP is rad. Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit. Is the only song that you have a video for Mango now, or do you have?
No.
Okay.
No. It's getting a lot of attention though, which I really appreciate because I worked really hard on those visuals. So yeah, thank you for your support. No, the first song that I released off of the EP was called "If You Only Knew." And it does have a video as well. I shot that one in Senegal and Jamaica. And yeah, so that's a visual that's out. I'm kind of just wearing my head wraps and my Puma sports bra with like, again, like African like pants. But yeah, and it's really just me taking different modes of transportation to emphasize the meaning of a song, going as far as you can for somebody that you love,
Sure. Yeah. With this record, you're probably in quarantine as well, I'm sure, right? As far as like, I know it's a worldwide pandemic, but some places are not as horrible, so maybe you didn't have to,
Oh yeah, no, we're definitely not as we're handling it really, really well, I would say. We're allowed to have gatherings up to 250 people now.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, it's crazy. Our death toll has been literally 10 people this whole time.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, because I'll talk to people from all over the world, or Ireland, or the UK, and like it's so bizarre that everybody is literally inside. You're in Jamaica. The person I talked to in like I said, Ireland, and then I'm in the United States, and we're all in the same thing.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I've never lived through. I mean, none of us have ever lived through anything like this. It is crazy. And I think overall it's improving or heightening the global consciousness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the first thing that we can all kind of relate to, whether or not we're super rich or really poor.
It doesn't matter, right? It's affecting every single person pretty much equally, unfortunately. But
maybe not equally, but definitely affects everyone. I don't know, because maybe some of the rich people are flying out with jets. You don't know what they're doing. We don't know.
Oh, that's true. I guess not equally, but like we're all within the same.
Oh, for sure.
We're all in the same problem. I guess we all have the same problem. Maybe some of us have better solutions as far as or ways to cope with it, but
for sure.
Yeah. Well, you put the record out. Not that long ago. A few days ago? Last on Friday?
Literally, like the 31st, yeah.
Yeah. And was that something that was always the plan, or did COVID kind of throw a wrench in in the release or anything like that?
You know what? It was always a plan to release music, but everything got kind of pushed back a little bit, if I'm being honest with you, just because we had to contend with how we would approach the releases amidst COVID, and then also amidst because we're with RCA in the US and then Colombia in
sure.
UK. So it's kind of like it would have to be timed around also the protests.
Oh,
right?
right. Mm-hmm.
Because there's literally a civil rights movement happening.
Yeah,
Um,
it's within another pandemic. I mean, yeah, it's
within a pandemic, and the civil rights movement in a lot of ways is global as well, because I know that a lot of important conversations have started here for us too, and a
oh,
lot of
really?
laws being reviewed for sure. I mean, America is powerful, you know. It's kind of like you guys sneeze and we all catch the cold, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know
Um,
I did see protests and stuff happening out in Europe and the UK as well.
yeah, in the
But
Caribbean islands,
mhm,
everywhere, Australia, all over the world.
mhm.
Because there's that same injustice and insidious institutionalized racism globally,
Everywhere.
even in black countries, you know.
Mhm.
So that's a
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was something, yeah, you kind of had to pay attention to a little bit as far as
For
like,
sure.
yeah, not
Yeah,
making, yeah, because a lot of artists were talking about not making it about them at that point, and just kind of taking a
exactly.
step
Being
back
sensitive.
and let that be the focus of all,
Right, exactly. Lend your efforts to that. And then also because press was also focused on that. So we, it doesn't make sense to put music out if there's nobody really trying to,
Right.
market it for you. So
Hmm. But it's
yeah.
out now, and what are you doing to promote it now? Are you doing live streams or?
I'm doing interviews. I did a live with MTV today, which went
Oh,
really, really well.
really?
Yeah,
Tell me
yeah.
about that. That's awesome.
I know, it was so good. I was in a swing, like a swing set chair, and I jumped up and I was looking very girly, and I sang through my songs from the EP, and it was beautiful. Yeah, it was the first time performing those songs too, so it was a nice
That
little
is wow. So that was your first time you've performed it to people, and you got to do it through MTV. Wow.
I did the
Was it
IGTV.
like on their Instagram or something? Or
Yeah, it's on their IGTV right now, saved.
cool. I'm gonna check it out right after this
Hey,
conversation. Have you gone on your own Instagram live or anything like that?
I have all the time. That's like a given. That's the number one way to engage people now, especially since you can't go on tour and meet people backstage and so on. So we're
Right.
more than ever, artists I think have been present online, and he's really using that space, the virtual space, to communicate with the people who support them. So.
Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy doing them? Is it kind of cool to see like comments happening and like stuff in real time?
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. It is cool. I always have fun engaging with people who support me. I mean, some of them are trolls, and some of them will leave every now and then like
Oh,
a comment.
mean
Like,
comment.
okay. But
It's
yeah,
weird how people. I just don't understand why people do that. It's like,
they do though.
but they can because they know that nobody knows who they are behind their computer. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. But
Hard.
that's amazing that that you had the chance to do that, and that you're able to still promote the record within everything else that's happening in the world currently. And yeah. So what's the next plans for you?
Well, RCA is and In.Digg is just lining up a bunch of interviews and just press and performances for me. So I'm just here ready, just getting around, doing the work, recording more music, because I have an album that I'm working on to come out for next year. And I think I'm gonna travel soon, just because I have to, keep doing work. So it's
Mhm.
life goes on, and I'm gonna just keep doing my very, very best.
Very cool. Very cool. So you've been able to write and
Oh,
be
absolutely.
creative.
For sure. Whenever there is an issue, that's when I feel artists get the most out, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
because we're feeling more. So it's like you have to put it somewhere, and I've been putting it directly into my music and writing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
For
for
sure.
talking to me today, Savannah. And I have one more question. I
Yes.
want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh, absolutely. Don't listen to what anybody has to say. Usually, you know exactly how you want to sound and what you want to look like. Follow that, right? Because a lot of people will project how they want to see you onto you, and that's not your problem. Find people who will support your vision. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Find people who believe in you. They don't need to be experts. They just need to really, really believe in you and want to go with you the whole way, because that makes a whole world of a difference. And yeah, find out why it is that you want to be an artist. Have a real purpose to keep you rooted in it, because you're going to need that, because with all of the rejection and the self-work and the life lessons that come in the midst of it, you will need it. I do though want to big up all of the producers that worked with me on my EP. I have to say that. J Vibe, Izzy, JLL, Greg the Mixer, Nico the Mixer, Protoje, Kelsey, Charlie, Benji, everybody who helped me to make this project a reality. Yeah, it's my best work and it'll just keep getting better and I'll keep getting better and I'm unstoppable. And thank you for having me. I don't know.